Hey, welcome to another episode of Heaven's Kitchen. Big thank you to my faithful subscribers and fans. I think there's only one of you, you know who you are, but thank you. Today we're going to be making something that I have never made before, so this is a big experiment for me, and that is a green tomato pie. Now I've heard that it tastes just like apple pie, and we're going to find out. So I'm going to start with the pie crust. It's a few simple ingredients: whole wheat flour, white flour, coconut oil, and some oat milk, not cow's milk. We're gonna make this a vegan green tomato pie. So I'm trying to make it as healthy as possible, going with mostly whole wheat. We're not gonna use any vinegar in the pie. We're not gonna use any sugar in the pie. So vegan, sugar-free, vinegar-free green tomato pie. So I'm gonna get started with the pie crust and I'll be back. Okay, so here's the fun thing about experimenting. You never know what is going to happen along the way. So I mixed my coconut oil with my oat milk, and it immediately had this weird reaction and solidified. I have no clue why. So we're going to do plan B. We're not going to use coconut oil. We're going to use olive oil and mix that with the soy milk, and I don't think that will happen. Stay tuned. Alright, this is much better, exactly what I'm looking for, nothing solid. So we're going to mix the wet and the dry together. One last thing I forgot to mention is the crust does have salt in it. Don't look on my label, I put it in a sauerkraut jar. It is salt. Okay, so I finished the pie crust. I finished mixing it. It was a little crumbly. I think it has to do with the fact that I used oat milk instead of soy milk. So I just added a little bit of water and it makes a nice dough that sticks together. And I'm going to roll it out now with my rolling pin, and I put it between two sheets of plastic wrap. If you have wax paper, I think that's better, but I didn't have any, unfortunately, so I'm just going to use the plastic wrap. And you're going to try to get it out the size of your pie pan. So I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I've got my pie crust rolled out, and so I'm going to put it in my pan. I need to spray it first, doesn't stick. Now I'm just going to put this on here. I leave the plastic wrap under the bottom of this. Here's a really cool trick you can do, or flipping it. Here it is. You can slide a flat cutting board underneath, flip it over, and you don't have any issues with it breaking or anything on you. Press it into your pan. And you've got a beautiful pie crust ready to go. I'm going to save this for the top half of the pie, which I will do towards the end. Okay, I'm cutting up the tomatoes, and they're really fun because they're actually kind of crunchy. They're like little apples because they're green. Just a note on these, I don't even know if this is true or not, but I went for the ones that were starting to be a little bit shiny. If they're kind of have a mattish coating on their skin, I feel like they're just not ripe enough. I don't want anybody to get an upset stomach from unripe tomatoes. So I went for the ones that were starting to get a little shiny already. And you can just treat them like apples. Cutting them in half and then slicing them thinly. They have a really cool sound to them. It's completely untomatoey, crunchy type sound, and they're fun to work with. So I'm gonna get these sliced up, and then we'll start doing the filling. Okay, it is time to make the filling for the pie now. For that, I've got a few key ingredients. Of course, the green tomatoes. It called for vinegar. Instead of vinegar, I'm going to do lemon juice mixed with apple juice concentrate. It asked for apple cider vinegar, and I think that's going to be a really good alternative. Some nutmeg for flavor, or you could do cinnamon. I prefer using stuff like nutmeg. Pinch of salt, and then it said to mix it with flour. I'm going to try for some cornstarch. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, this is a big experiment. Instead of sugar, I'm going to use some honey and then a bit of margarine to kind of top it all off and mix it all together really well. I will get back to you when it's all put together. The time has come. We're pouring in our pie filling. Oh, that looks so beautiful. By the way, I've been preheating the oven at 350, and it's going to bake for about an hour. Don't forget that step. So I'm going to spread these out in here. Got that delicious, I tasted it, oh man, it's so yummy. With the honey and the lemon and the apple juice, and I tasted it even with a piece of the green tomato, and it tastes so good. I'm like, oh my goodness, this can't be this good. So hopefully it's as good when it's baked. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so we are done. I put the top crust on, crimped the edges. Whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. But anyway, nice crimp on the edges. I forgot to put the butter on the inside, so I have it on the outside, but I think it will help make it nice and brown on the top. And I'm gonna stick in the oven for 1 hour, and then it'll be done. And here is the finished product. When life gives you green tomatoes, make a green tomato pie.